Yes, I can hear you.
Well, I haven't spoken English for a long time, so I can
Me
make
too.
mistakes. Because last 2 years I studied Italian language,
Italian language only. Mm,
Italian and English.
okay.
And in future, I think I will start to learn French.
Mm. Uh, there's a morning in your uh, city place, I think.
Yes, where do you live?
St. Petersburg?
I'm in Krasnodar, so it's the same time.
Same time. Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
what's the weather now in St. Petersburg?
Really?
What?
Uh,
What's
I
the weather?
oh, the weather is the питерская
St.
standard
Petersburg
weather.
weather.
Yeah, it's small raining and clouds of mists.
Mm.
So it's 4 or 5 degrees uh, above the zero, I think. So it's
Here is
really cold here.
here is 10 degrees above zero, but also it's very cloudy and not very nice weather.
Same weather, I guess.
But, I have been in St. Petersburg 2 times. One time in 2013 during the how to say May holiday,
Yeah.
and the second time it was last year uh, in January.
Mm,
In January, it's very good time
January.
for visiting St. Petersburg.
I remembered there were some days without snow, without any wind and rain, so it was very tiny and warm. I think they were in the middle of January, I guess.
I was in 20s, uh,
Oh,
5 days.
20s, yeah.
I went for work, but almost all time I was working
Ah,
and enjoying this very beautiful city. Have you ever been to Krasnodar?
Krasnodar.
I
I
think you have been to seaside, our seaside. Yeah?
mm, I don't think so. I'm I was in Kharkov in uh, West Ukraine, so I was near Krasnodar sometimes, but I never been here there.
But Ukraine is mm, far from Krasnodar.
Yeah, but
Black Sea.
it's nearer than in Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
so it's quite a similar white широта. I don't remember the right word
Mm.
for широта географическая.
Geographic. I call it you when I don't know how to say. I call it geographic line.
Ah, yeah. Or географическая широта in with accent. Yeah.
And what do you do in life? You study?
Not now. I'm freelancer. I like to translate some texts, such as annotation, first chapters of sci-fi books or fantasy books. Sometimes I
Fantasy books, interesting. And which books did you translate?
well, uh, it weren't so much. I think it was it were 3 or 4 only books, but I I corrected more Russian books with my friends and colleagues for writing. It's fantasy for a lot of times, and I like to helping to be or no. I like to help for administrating works with some cultural events, as for example, um, uh, uh, theater weeks in British Book Center in Petersburg, or business forums for um, business, or how to say it, small businessmen in Russia, in St. Petersburg too. So, but I can't say I working so hard. It's I usually have much spare time to study English, or to talking to friends, or to reading, listening to music, etc. And what about you? What do you?
I'm working from morning till evening, but last year I have changed my work,
Mhm.
and now I work in one company, just like economist. I make some sales, some accounting, etc. But before I worked in Federal Road Agency in Krasnodar, so a
Mhm.
company which builds roads, federal roads. For example, from Luba to Sochi, Krasnodar, Novorossiysk,
Mhm.
but and at those work, I work um, often. I work even at night, all night. It was very hard, but someone in Moscow decided that our company uh, must change its place. So now Krasnodar roads are built, how to say, one company from Sochi build our
Mhm.
road, and my company moved to Astrakhan. So
Oh.
I I didn't want to move to this city, so I changed. But now I have fortunately more free time for learning
Mhm.
English, for example, for learning Italian, for reading, because I like this process very much.
Mhm. So you like to
Oh,
travel?
yes, yes.
Oh,
It's my it's my very expensive hobby.
no, I understand. Yeah. So you are going to Astrakhan?
No,
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 you're not going to.
no. I decided not to go. That's why I changed my work here in
Mhm.
Krasnodar. I decided to stay here because the Naftahan is mm, nothing to do for me.
Mm. Uh, you are studying Italy. Uh, are you going to use it for work or for fun, for hobby?
For example, for now, I don't use no English, no Italian in my work because it's not necessary. But
Mm.
really, it's my dream to have work connecting with languages because I like it, and especially Italian language. I'd like
Mm.
to use it in my work, and I hope one day I will realize it.
Yeah.
But I really like Italian language. It's very funny for me to speak this language. Even when I go to Italy, for example, uh, not all people in Italy can speak English, and
Mm.
they really like when someone speaks their language. And when I uh, meet someone in shop, in restaurant, in metro, and they see that I can speak Italian, they are almost my friends.
I
Very
thought,
interesting country.
sorry, can you repeat it?
Very interesting country, Italy,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me.
I totally agree.
What?
And I totally agree with you. I think um, I was heard uh, Ital Italians, Italians, uh, very different in some parts of country. So Florentians, or how to say it, uh, don't uh, don't call themselves as Italian. They like to call themselves as a Florentine, or in every part of country the same. So
Yes, they appreciate firstly their region.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
For them, they are firstly Roman, mm, how to say, uh, people of Florence,
They
Milan
mostly
people.
local. They
Yes.
identificate themselves as a
And
local.
just secondly, they are Italian people.
Yeah.
For example, people from North Italy, Milan, mm, Turin, Venice, they don't like people from South Italy. They call
Mm.
them terroni,
Mm.
like something.
What does it mean?
Um, I can translate even in Russian. Uh,
Mm.
they are less educated, less modern for them.
Ah, understand. Yeah. Mm.
And even in language, there are a lot of differences between regions of Italy. And for example, people of Lombardia uh, usually can't understand people from Campania, Neapel.
Mm.
Very interesting, but mm, not many people speak English. Also, when I went for 1 week to travel in Spain, also just in hotels, yes, in hotels, they can speak English, but
Mm.
usual people mm, often can't understand English.
Yeah. I agree. In Spain and Italy, they don't like to use foreign languages.
Yes,
One
they
of
are I think, but they are a little bit lazy for learning for studying, I think.
mm, one of my pals, interpals from one side, some side, uh, has said to me, he don't like English at all. He thinks it's a terrible language to speak, and she write messages in Spanish, and I answered it in English. So how we communicate. Communicate.
Generally, I also don't like English. So when I studied at
Me too.
university, I hate this language maybe because our teachers were not very well for this. They were not interested to teach us. So just after I first time went abroad and I understood that I feel myself very, how to say, limited. I couldn't understand other people. I couldn't communicate. Also, even in airport, I couldn't find my terminal, my gate because I couldn't say anything. And after this, I thought that finally I must learn English to feel myself free in every country. Anyway, when you speak English, you can find every place. You can, I can say, you feel more free without limits, and it's
Yeah.
a good feel for me. And here in language heroes, do you learn just English or other languages?
Uh, I keep learning English for level 2, and I start to study Spanish in the first level. I studied Spanish some years ago. It was of A1, I guess. So it's very, very low level. And now I hardly to speak in Spanish, but I can understand some phrases and words. Then they speak, and I can write some simple messages or texts in Spanish. So I want to improve my Spanish to understand magazines, articles, newspapers, and so on. So it's my goal for this marathon. But I'm sure I prefer English more than Spanish, and I like German. Um like German rather Spanish. So it's not my favorite language because his culture, his uh, cultural values, can I say it? Cultural values, ценности, not the same as mine. I like German style of life more, or English style. It's similar to my thoughts, to my goals, to my uh, life. Uh, for me, I say that. So, what about other hobbies, not languages? Do you like reading or listening to music?
I like reading, and when I have free time, I try to read some books because I couldn't live without reading books so
Me
much
too.
fast. I started to read without parents when I was 4 years,
Mm,
And in first class at school, I was reading, uh, how to say, books of Dumas.
mm. So yeah.
And at third class, I have read Conte Monte Cristo. Conte,
Mm.
no, Conte is in Italian. How to say in English?
Count, I think. Duke, Count of Monte Cristo.
And for not very much time ago, I read this book.
Mm,
I'd like to read it. This is George Orwell, 1984. I'd like to read it in English, but
mm,
I decided to read it in Russian to understand better.
mm.
So, and
Uh, uh, do you prefer uh, fiction or non-fiction books?
when I was at school and at university, my favorite book was fiction. So I read just fiction, many books.
Mm,
Now, for example, I'm interested in a little bit more in history books.
yeah.
Don't know why, but I didn't like history earlier, but now it's interesting for me. I have read one book of Maurice Brillon, um, how to say, uh, about French kings Philip IV and his generation.
Mhm.
So it was very interesting for me, and I started to search other historical books.
So you like history too?
No, yes, now yes.
Me too, yeah.
And fiction, I have read many fiction books, and mm, after all these books, uh, new books have have started for me to be similar. But which is your favorite fiction book? Which writer do you like?
Mm, fiction book, yeah.
Yeah.
In Russian, I guess it will be Maria Semyonova. Uh,
Wrote about.
she's a local writer. She uh, wrote about Slavic mythology and Slavic fantasy, such as Volkodав,
Yeah.
Valkyria,
I know just yes.
Лебединая
Okay.
дорога. I think it's very interesting and strong books. I very like Volkodав. It's my favorite book. It was my favorite book when I uh, was in my childhood, and I like early books of Ник Перумов,
Oh, yeah.
Гибель богов, например, for example.
For example, I like mm, about um, three books like Tolkien books, like
Mm,
Continuance of this,
mm.
you know, м, Черное копье, Эдик Клинок.
Адамант Хенне,
Yes,
да. I read it.
I looked up on my bookshelf.
Ah, understand? Yeah.
But mm, last three books I don't know, not very like. Also, I like first book of Bushko about Swarov. Do you know
Mm. How can you repeat it?
Swarov? Alexander Bushkov.
Bushkov?
Yeah.
I heard about it, yeah.
But
But I
I
think
like just first book, and
Svarok.
yeah, and later books they are like uh, they were written by someone else, not by the same
Mhm,
author.
mhm.
And from foreign fiction,
Oh,
what do you think?
I I mostly like American sci-fi and series in golden age of fiction. It's Harry Harrison, Ray Bradbury, Robert Shackley, uh, uh, Paul Anderson, Steinberg, Simak, and other authors. I very like uh, short stories from 60s and 70s of America. They're very, mm, very philosophical, very, uh, very deep, and very funny sometimes. So I like foreign fiction books
And
most.
have you read Robin Hood?
Robin Hood here, I read it. I read her romance such as mm, the murder, and I don't know how it uh, translated.
And I read about alive sheep.
Yeah, should.
I don't know, but for me, this saga about sheep is really the most interesting fiction book
Mm.
I read last time.
Do you read? Did you read Bujold,
What?
Miles for Kosigan, for example, series?
No.
It's very interesting author. She wrote about one boy. It started when he was 14, I guess, and she grows. She grows up as a admiral of mercenary naval spaceship naval fleet, and it's uh, very moving books. I think it's very interesting for mm, for every readers. I guess it's so. I totally recommend if
Can
you.
you read the name of author in message?
Yeah, I will write you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Oh, now I have to run because someone will persistently call my telephone in another room.
Okay.
So for
Thank you very much for
it
your help.
was very nice to speak with you, and
Me too.
I fortunately I understood that I didn't forget English totally because
Yeah.
the time after uh, speaking Italian, I want to speak Italian. I start to mix words.
Mhm.
I want to say in English, but say in Italian. Usual for me. Okay,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you again. Bye bye.
bye bye.